You know, Kev, that's a good point. If nothing else, it helps you sleep. I mean, think about it. You can get all pilled up on fucking, you know, Valium and all this other stuff, but nothing like an ice cold beer, as long as you don't abuse it. Because think about it, beer has, of course, I drink beer and I don't know, if it's I think it's allergies. Hey, this is something that's kind of cool. This is good news. I was looking today and I'm like, damn, my nose is running, my throat is scratchy. What the hell's going on? We still got snow on the ground. It's March, right? And I'm looking outside and I'm starting to see like little buds on the cherry trees outside. And I just kept staring at it, right, like a fucking moron. I'm sitting there like, the cherry blossoms trees around here, right? I'm starting to see like the little balls they get right before they start to bud up and shit. So, my friends, I would like to officially announce spring has to be coming soon because otherwise that wouldn't be happening. Yeah, I know, G. So, there's some good news. Some happy news from me. Okay. According to TuneCore, author is Jeff Core. The blog is called blog.tunecore.com/Jeff's Postings. Guy says he read an article about comments by Tommy Silverman, who is the founder of Tommy Boy in the New Music Seminar. With all due respect, his information is wrong, but worse, the conclusions he reaches with this faulty information could be damaging to artists. Some highlights include statements like Silverman counted 105,575 new album releases that year and found that just 225 of those were new artists surpassing the 10,000 unit threshold for the first time. Of that, just 14 were do-it-yourself artists unaffiliated with a major indie or other entity. And quote, what does it say about the Chris Anderson long tail promise? Silverman blogged in musician coaching. Clearly, the ease of making and distributing music does not benefit breaking music. Breaking music requires mass exposure, which requires luck or money or both. I can say with great authority that less new music is breaking now in America than any other time in history. Technology has not helped more great music to the top, it has inhibited it. I know this is a bold statement, but it is true. End quote. Jeff Core wrote a response to the editor of the blog where the article appeared. He doesn't know if he'll post it, but he feels so strong about making sure a certain word gets out. He's reposting his response to Tommy's statements here. And let me click on that. Oh, really? Now the guy that Jeff Core who says that this is all bullshit, or the Silverman guy who's saying that technology doesn't help. Tommy Boy. Okay. Well, it's interesting what Tommy Boy says. He says that technology isn't helping at all. Right. Okay. This is a response that Jeff Core wrote. I hope this email finds you well. I'm writing you in response to Tommy's information and posting the good news. He is dead wrong. The truth is, more artists and bands are breaking down America and around the world than at any other time in history. Technology has absolutely helped more great artists and bands rise to the top. The Nielsen data cited is not only incomplete but also provides a false analysis. Let me give you some hard stats to back this up. According to Nielsen and Tommy, there were 106,000 new music releases in 2008. In 2008, TuneCore released approximately 90,000 newly recorded releases. That means, according to Nielsen and Tommy Boy, almost every single new music released in 2008 was distributed via TuneCore. He knows that simply not to be true. The base assumption that Tommy is making is that dead wrong as his other statistics, such as just 225 of those new releases were new artists surpassing the 10,000 unit threshold for the first time. This is an empirically false statement for a few reasons. I love this guy. This is pretty cool. First, in order for Nielsen to accurately track sales, the UPCs for those albums must be pre-registered in their database. If the UPC is not registered in its database, Nielsen cannot match the sales data to an album or song. For example, if a digital store tells Nielsen it sold 100 copies of UPC 696969 and Nielsen has no idea what UPC 696969 is, it cannot report the sales. Next, the majority of the 90,000 releases via TuneCore in 2009 were not registered with SoundScan, therefore making it impossible for them to track or report on the sales. But these 2 points are actually kind of moot. Music is no longer bought by the album, it is bought by the song across an artist's catalog. Tracking album sales as a sole indicator to determine if something is breaking is analogous to tracking only vinyl album sales to determine if something is breaking. Some examples. Excuse me. When they were unsigned, the following TuneCore artists sold the following quantities of songs across the releases. Kelly, whoever that is, sold over 2 million tracks. 2 million tracks. William Fitzsimmons sold over 150,000 tracks. Soulja Boy sold over 200,000 tracks. Boyce Avenue, 1,200,000 tracks. Blah, 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 blah. This is just a very quick partial list that goes on and on and on. Under Tommy's model, none of these artists' sales count as they are not album sales. With all due respect, Tommy might be discount selling over 1 million songs by an unsigned artist is not breaking, but I do. On a macro level, in 2009 alone, the internet allowed the long-tail unsigned artists that use TuneCore to generate over $32 million in music sales by selling over 42 million songs. That is more than one song a second selling by a TuneCore artist on iTunes. This long-tail catalog that TuneCore's artists represent is now one of the most valuable music catalogs in the world, and this all happened due to the internet, social networking, and access to the media outlets like YouTube. Breaking is not just about selling albums or even the music, it is about generating revenue off of fame. This is done via merchandising, gigs, publishing, music sales, ad revenue, and more. Never Shout Never sold over 35,000 t-shirts in a number of months via a regional sales program with Hot Topic. Surely Tommy does not mean to discount these sales and revenue simply because the artist is selling merchandise. How about if the band sold no music but consistently sold out 1,000 venue clubs and made 15,000 a night? Why does Tommy discredit bands for their success if they are not selling albums? Very good point. That's exactly the same thing happened to me one time, Gio. Nielsen is, they thought I was a typical household. They found out how whack I was. And, yeah. You have to fit into the person they are looking for. Hello. I don't know what the hell they're looking for, but you have to fit that mold. Anyway, the article goes on. Another distributing and incorrect point suggested by Tommy Boy is that music sales are down due to the fact that there is more music available to buy, share, and discover. A matter of fact, it is quite the opposite. In the late 90s, also known as the golden age of market share and revenue for the music industry, more music was being released and bought than ever before. As an example, Warner was releasing one new release a day. Despite this increase of releases, sales, not just revenue, went up, not down. Or from a pure logic perspective, if iTunes had 2 million less songs, would an artist that is not selling now, as no one likes their music, magically start selling? Or to flip it around, I would suggest more music on the virtual shelf causes more music to sell, as it allows the music buyer to discover music via the digital sales own recommendation association engines. Tommy Boy goes on to state, breaking music requires mass exposure, which requires luck or money or both. This statement is also dead wrong, and he knows it based on his own experiences at Tommy Boy. Historically, in the music industry, 98% of what the record labels distributed spent hundreds of $millions on to market and promote and get played on commercial radio and MTV did not break. If breaking simply required mass exposure, there would have been a 98% success rate, not failure rate. But music is not a math equation, and therein lies the problem with Tommy's statement. Yes, to break you need exposure, but that by no means guarantees success. The music has to cause reaction. For example, if Smells Like Teen Spirit was not a song that people liked, it would not have mattered how much money was spent on getting you to hear it.